It's Sunday, October 18th, and I'm trying to find some trades to set up my week. Hello, traders. Let's see if we can find some trades. First, we have to look at the market, get our bearings, then we can start to drill down to some stocks. You can see how the market has had an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Let me point that out to you. There's the left shoulder, there's the head, there's the right shoulder, and there's the neckline right there. And we broke out above it. When we broke out above it, we had what I consider to be a true gap. The market gaps higher, and the low of the day is greater than the high the prior day. That's a very powerful pattern. We didn't have one, we had three of them in a row. The market got overextended, and when it gets overextended, we know that there are profit takers. We saw the market pull back. Where did it come to its resting point? On Thursday, you can see how the market gapped down. There was some negative news on the coronavirus spreading in Europe. Most of the metropolitan areas in Europe are shut down. That's not going to be good for their economic recovery. We have a similar trend happening in the US. The coronavirus is starting to spike again. Once everyone gets inside, colder weather coming. So we need a stimulus bill. The focus has been completely on the stimulus bill. But let's go back to this technical pattern, and you can see where the market found support on Thursday right here. It's right on that neckline for the inverted head and shoulders. So the market tested it, and it spent the entire day rallying Thursday, closing on its high of the day. We tried to gap higher and get something going on Friday, but the market pulled back and it closed on its low, but it did close right where it finished the day on Thursday. What does this tell us? Overall, the bid to the market is still very strong. It's true that Republicans and Democrats can't come to an agreement on the stimulus bill, but folks, we're 2 weeks away from an election. This is going to be the number one priority for whichever administration takes over. So it doesn't matter if it's Trump or it's Biden. Both parties want to do a stimulus bill, and they recognize that it's very much needed given this second wave of coronavirus, given the fact that some of the economic numbers are starting to show signs of strain. So the stimulus package is going to keep buyers engaged. If it's Republicans that win, it could be a $1.8 trillion package. If Democrats win, it could be $2.5 trillion. We're talking very, very big numbers. So you can see how the 50-day moving average was preserved. And we have another influence coming into play right now. Mega cap tech earnings are on deck over the course of the next 2 weeks. Buyers are always engaged for those. They haven't been impacted as much by the coronavirus. Workers are working from home, so they haven't had that issue to deal with, and the demand for their products is still strong. And your 5 tech giants, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, they comprise, and Google, they comprise about 25% of the S&P 500. So there's always lots of enthusiasm, lots of optimism just before those companies announce. That's also going to maintain the bid to the market. Why am I so concerned about the bid to the market? Because I like selling out of the money bullish put spreads, and I don't want to have the rug pulled out from underneath me. As long as I know that buyers are engaged, I can look for stocks that have relative strength and that tend to rally into their earnings announcements, and I can sell those bullish put spreads fairly close to the money on the notion that the market is going to at least tread water and that the stock at very least is going to tread water and probably move higher. Well, I have all the statistics, and I know that over the course of the last 3 years, there are many, many stocks that have had a tendency to rally into the earnings announcement 2 weeks prior to that announcement. And they've done so more than 75% of the time. This is a very, very powerful force that we can take advantage of. So I'm trying to check as many boxes as I can right now. And I will say I plan to be flat before the election. My greatest fear is that the outcome is not known for 2, 3, possibly 4 weeks. And I think the mail-in ballots are going to be a big issue. So this is my last opportunity to try and sell some option premium before the election. I'm going to be focusing on the October 30th expiration date. So let's go in and let's set up a search and see what we can find. Before I do that, I will mention that you have a ready-made search in Option Stalker that already looks for these stocks. Buy into earnings. Incidentally, I don't mention it enough, but there is a counterpart, sell into earnings. And these stocks have declined into the earnings announcement 75 or more percent of the time. So the buy into earnings search looks for these stocks that tend to rally into the number and that are going to be announcing earnings within the next 2 weeks. So if I'm looking to day trade stocks or very, very short-term swing trades, let's say I want to buy the stock today, maybe I sell it tomorrow or the day after, this is a great search to use. So I'm going to bring up buy into earnings, and then this is how the search will normally show up. It has option liquidity marked as a filter. If I took that off and you're a stock trader, then you'd have lots of stocks that you can take a look at. But I'm going to keep option liquidity marked because we want stocks with liquid options. I'm also going to mark D1. What does this mean? This means that it is on a buy signal using our proprietary trading system on a daily basis. And you can see how the list narrowed dramatically. Let's say that I also want to buy signal on a 2-hour basis. Well, look at this list really come in. These are your best prospects. Let me just click through a few of them. AXP, what do I see here? I see resistance around the 108 level. I see a nice support level around the 200-day moving average, but not really much in the way of relative strength or weakness. Keep going down the list. Caterpillar, beautiful. Look at that rebound Thursday, closing on the high Friday, a day when the market was down. The stock is making a new all-time high. You bet I'd consider that for a day trade. EMPH breaking out to a new all-time high. Letter F, Ford, breaking through this horizontal resistance level, also looks good. FCX, riding right up on that horizontal resistance, looking like it wants to break out. GE, getting through this horizontal resistance, nice long green candle, closing on its high. GLW, yes, also pushing up right on its high. Nice reversal on Thursday. Decent day Friday. Closed higher. Relative strength. INTC trying to get through the 100-day moving average. Do you see how easy it is to find these candidates? And look at Intel trying to fill some of this gap as it heads into earnings on 10/22. So it's going to be announcing earnings Wednesday. Really nice looking stock. Let's see, Wednesday or Thursday. In any event, I like Intel. If it can get through that 100-day moving average, would I be day trading Intel going into the number knowing that it tends to rally ahead of earnings? You betcha. So let's go in and find another way to find these trades. And I'm going to be looking particularly for a bullish put spread because I want to also have a longer term swing trade on. So I'm going to be looking for good option liquidity, and I'll use a rating of -1 or higher. That'll be a good option liquidity for us. I'm also going to be looking for this pre-earnings bull search. This is the one that I want to use. Now, because I want to sell option premium on the October 30th expiration date, I need to make sure that the earnings announcement is after that date. So if I click on November 2nd, that will make sure that those October 30th options will have expired before that earnings announcement. And I don't want to go too far out in time. Number one, this is going to be the earnings season climax coming up very, very soon. So I don't have to go too far out. But that impetus, that historical tendency for the stock is not measuring the stock rallying 3 weeks or 4 weeks ahead of the earnings announcement. It's 2 weeks and in. So I want to make sure that I'm catching as much of that historical tendency as I possibly can. So I'm only going to go out to the November 7th date. So the company announces between November 2nd and November 7th. So let's click on scan and see what we've got. Lots of candidates, and there's going to be some really good ones in here, but I want to further filter this search so that I don't have to sort through as many stocks. So I'm going to click on strength versus the S&P 500 on a daily basis. Aha, look at this. The list has narrowed dramatically. Now I've already gone through and I've already done the search and I've looked at the stocks. So I'm going to click on two that I like. And one of them is MGM. I like this. You've got this gap higher right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. That is very strong horizontal support. I can see the 200-day moving average coming into play right here at 20.50. So one strategy would be to sell the 20.50 $20 bullish put spread and try to get 10 cents for that or better. And we could take a look at that. I didn't like this trade as much because I feel that with the coronavirus coming on strong again, that casinos might really be hurt. And you can see that the $20 19.50 bullish put spread, which I would want to get a dime for, is 10 cents bid. So you certainly can do better than 10 cents. You can probably get 15 cents for this spread. But again, I want to play it a little bit cautious on this one because of the coronavirus starting to heat up again. And there could be some negative news in the next 2 weeks if Las Vegas starts to pull back and shut down a little bit more, or maybe they're controlling the number of people that can be in the casinos. I just think that MGM is a little bit more vulnerable right now. But there is another stock that I do like on the list, and it is SWKS, Skyworks Solutions. And you can see how the stock has broken through horizontal resistance here, and now it checks it 1, 2 times, and now it's off to the races. It's been able to clear that high and maintain that. You can see the nice reversal on Thursday. Stock sold off, closed on its high, and was able to finish pretty much where it closed Thursday. So we've got nice support here. In particular, I like this level right in here. That was prior resistance. That should be support. And that comes into play approximately at $149. You can also see that this level right here is also a nice little support level. That comes into play around $147. This is the one that I'm going to opt for because then the stock can pull back and it can check this breakout, and I'm still out of the money on it. But if it comes back and checks this level, then I'm probably going to have to shut the trade down. We do have the 50-day moving average just below that, so that also should lend support. Let's take a look at the options for SWKS. We're going out to the October 30th expiration, and we're going to go down to the 147 strike price. And here you can see that we are also 2 standard deviations out of the money. The blue dotted line, 1 standard deviation. The red, we're 1 standard deviation out of the money, which is good. That also increases our probability of success. So if I want to stay 1 standard deviation out, I click on the 146 put and I click on the 145 put, and you can see that that spread is a negative 18 cents bid, negative 18 cents, offered at $1.20. So if I figured out what the middle point of this is, it's probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 cents for this spread. Well, we're not trying to get 40 cents. We're going to try and get 20 cents for this spread. So that is the trade that I'm going to try and get done Monday morning. I think that it makes sense. I like the probability of success. I like the fact that the stock, whoops, I'm going the wrong way on this. I feel that the stock has a tendency to rally into the number. I feel that the market also has a very strong bid to it. So I'm not looking at the rug getting pulled out from underneath us. Let's recap the trade. SWKS. I'm looking to sell the October 30th expiration. I want to sell the 146 put. I want to buy the 145 put, and I want to do that spread for a 20-cent credit. Now, where might my stop be on this? Well, if the stock closes, that means you check the stock 5 minutes before the close. If it's below 147, you've got to buy your spread back in. As long as it stays above 147, I'm happy with it. All we need to do is to get through 2 or 3 days on this, and then the spread becomes much easier to manage. and the company announces earnings on the 3rd of November, which is only a few days after option expiration. So it should still have all that impetus and that tendency to rally into that earnings announcement. So that would be my stop, a close below 147. If the stock stays above 147 on a closing basis, that spread will expire worthless. Again, I'm not expecting the market to have the rug pulled out from underneath us. Could we check the 50-day moving average on the SPY? Yes. If we do, am I looking for the stock to fall apart? Probably not, because the SPY is fairly close to that 50-day moving average right now. So you can see it comes into play at about 340. So that would be about 70 points away. If the market came in, SWKS would come in as well, but it should be fairly resilient given that earnings are coming up. And if I look back at how the last two earnings have come out, because I can see that visually, SWKS 2 weeks before earnings, you can see the upward momentum there. You can also see nice reaction to the earnings announcement right there. And I'm going to go back to the prior earnings. There you can also see 2 weeks prior to that earnings announcement, nice little rally. So the last two quarters, there's another quarter, nice little rally into the earnings announcement. So the last 3 quarters, make that 4 quarters. Last 4 quarters, the stock has rallied into the number. So it has a recent history as well, moving higher into that number. I think the stock's going to move higher, or at very least tread water. Tick, 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 time decay, high probability trade, strong relative to the market, nice volume right here. Good technical breakout to the upside, SWKS. So I hope you find this content to be useful to you. That's how I set up my trades. Please give this content a thumbs up on YouTube. Let me know that I'm producing good content, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on your notifications so that you never miss any of these videos, because in each and every one of them, I have fantastic trade ideas that you can take advantage of. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers, and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.